great. If you want seconds, by all means, grab some seconds. And there's dessert there. There's pistachio chocolate pudding and orange chocolate pudding, all homemade. It's very delicious. And I think there's a little coffee chocolate beans on top. I'd like to welcome Julie Nelson from the Chetwynd Rotary Club to come and speak about all things Rotary.
Thank you so much for having me, and thank you to my board of directors for asking me to do this. Here we are, Rotary Club of Chetwynd. Technically the Rotary Club of Dawson Creek. We're the Chetwynd Satellite Club. We are under the umbrella of Dawson Creek. We cannot be our own Rotary until we have 20 members. And I think we are sitting at around 6 or 7. So today we are here to not just share the good word, but really urge you to come join us and bring your friends. So I'm the chair of the Chetwynd Rotary Club at this moment. I just thought, I had all this extra time. Let's do this too. So who are we? We are people of action, a global network of more than 1.2 million neighbors, friends, and leaders that volunteer their skills and resources to solve issues and address community needs. We connect people and we transform communities. Let's go to the next slide. Next one is, so Rotary International kind of is in charge, the full umbrella of all the Rotary clubs. And we're often asked, where do our annual membership fees go? And the answer is diverse, but I'll give you a couple little bullet points here. Rotarians educate and equip communities to stop the spread of life-threatening diseases. Rotary members have hundreds of health projects underway around the world at any given time. Major focuses are combating diseases like malaria, HIV, AIDS, Alzheimer's, MS, diabetes, and polio. And I have an aunt who is a paraplegic as a result of catching polio at the age of 16. And at that point in time, in the 50s, it was really prevalent, even in countries like Canada. But now, the good work that Rotarians have done worldwide, I think that we have nearly eradicated polio altogether, which is a real dream come true that this is really what happened to my aunt. She went to a sleepover and she contracted polio and came home and then was in a wheelchair for the rest of her life. So it is a real dream come true that our kids can go out in the world and not come home in a wheelchair. The promotion of peace. As a humanitarian organization, peace is a cornerstone of the Rotarians' mission. And also providing clean water. Rotary's people of action mobilize resources, form partnerships, and invest in infrastructure to yield long-term change. The four-way test is a real testament of the kind of Rotarian core values and ideals of life. And number 1 is it the truth? 2, is it fair to all concerned? 3, will it build goodwill and better friendships? And 4, will it be beneficial to all concerned? And the four-way test can be applied to all aspects of daily life, whether a Rotarian or not. If we're operating at our highest goods, we will be able to answer yes to those questions at every turn. And I just ask the audience, do you ask yourself questions like these when making decisions? And I urge you to, because really, if we can cover these all under a yes, I think that we can be quite successful and wake up really kind of happy people in the morning. Let's see. What do I have next? Oh, who said that? Who's happy every single day? I'll tell you I am, because I definitely live by that and I do my best for my community. So let's talk Chetwynd community involvement specifically. Some of the projects our club has been involved in more recently include the Rotary Auction. Annually, we canvass local businesses for donations, which we sell in the annual auction. Dawson Creek has been hosting this auction for 40 years. When Dawson chose to sponsor Chetwynd as a satellite club, they ensured that all Chetwynd donations financially went straight back to Chetwynd. So if you are a business that does contribute to us annually at the beginning of the year, just know that Dawson Creek has ensured that that money comes straight back to our community. We've had such great success from our local businesses in the pursuit of fundraising for this auction, and we're grateful to have the knowledge and experience of Dawson Creek's club to support us in this endeavor, because it is a lot of work, and They really just write us a big check at the end, which is brilliant. And you know, I will talk about that too, because I just am not passionate about canvassing local businesses, but I've got some people on my team that are. Um, Two of them sitting right over there. You may know them, the Decks. They kind of, every time you turn around at a volunteer group, they're right there. And thank you guys for doing that and saving me from having to talk to all the local businesses. Um, so more local community support, fundraising, barbecues, and the picture isn't that great because of lighting, but if you could see, that's Mel Deck and myself. Big Red, he's just grilling away. Fundraising barbecues. If you know my friend and colleague Mel Deck, you know he loves to barbecue and feed the community. We have participated in many local barbecues, both for fundraising as well as no charge for supportive community events such as Harvest Fest, Farmers Market, and the high school rodeo, which Rolene mentioned. And like we said, we'll be there to help again, just simply because we love to help. I believe our record sales were 7 dozen hot dogs an hour for 4 hours straight. So if you need a pro on the barbecue, we've got the people. Well, we've got Mel anyways. More local fun. We really do enjoy being involved in our community and being of service. And here are a few more of our local projects. We put together women's shelter starter kits, which go to the women's shelter here. If you could picture like a couple large Tupperware bins filled with all the things that you would need if you were fleeing a home and starting again. Like kitchenwares, brooms, linens, even down to things like teddy bears. We put together these bins and give them to our local women's shelter, and they disperse them. I can't remember how many we've given out in the last 5 years, but it's been a lot. Do you know, Donna?
I don't know.
Been a lot, right? Yeah. And it really is kind of just one of those feel-good things, because you know that the people who are receiving them really do need them. We were instrumental in the Chetwynd General Hospital garden cleanup. We kind of did a cement pad, cleaned up all the brambles, and got those big planters ready for the people who are living at the hospital to go and plant a little garden. We supported the Arts Council Guinness World Record, Chetwynd International Changeless Carving Event support, and we purchased the AED for the new Chetwynd Public Library. We're not just in it for ourselves, as I state here, we support all community groups. So, a small club with a big dream. We are proud of our projects, but the future of Chetwynd will be changed with our grandest project of all, the resurfacing of the running track. I have an image here. I, for some reason, couldn't load it onto this PowerPoint, but I'm going to pull it up here, and you can see our rendering of what this, what the running track will look like, kind of once we get there. And I'm going to tell you the story now. So as a group, we've been saving painstakingly to achieve the goal of rubberizing the current gravel running track at Rotary Park by the airport. The goal is to create an Olympic quality facility where children, family, schools, and seniors may train. This project will enable our local people to train to the best they can be, potential future Olympians. The beginning of this dream started with an application to Northern Development Initiative Trust, also known as NDIT. And what we were told was that they wanted to see the project under the district of Chetwynd, as under the municipality it would receive support and ensure that maintenance for the future was solidified. They viewed the fact that the district would be able to provide this maintenance, that it would be economically stimulating, which is their focus at NDIT. So, we approached the district of Chetwynd and asked, would you be interested in being the parent of this project? While as Rotarians, we will financially support it in whatever capacity is available to us. The district of Chetwynd put it to council, it was approved, and the NDIT grant was applied for, and this time successfully garnering the project over $250,000. And you can see we've put a little article from local newspapers showing that we did receive that $250,000, which is a really nice chunk, and we're really quite proud of that grant. So moving along, so close with the grant approval from NDIT, all the money from our account and a contribution from the district of Chetwynd, we were ready to put the project to tender in the summer of 2024. But alas, with the price of construction costs going through the roof, all bids were way over budget. So current status as of third quarter 2024, we have tabled the project to next year. Our action plan includes more grants, participating in fundraising, seeking more corporate sponsorship. You may see me out and about in the community speaking to businesses and randomly asking people for 450,000, which I have done a few times already. This is what we need for it, folks. To complete a project is going to change the future of all Chetwynd athletes. So if you know of any big business that wants to support our project, let us know. We could use that money. So running track, that's kind of where we stand. I do believe it's going to be built in 2025. I do believe we're going to get that money, and we don't know 100% from where, but working with the fine people at District of Chetwynd, I have a lot of faith. And more to come. So in exciting news, the Chetwynd Rotary Club, with the support of the Chamber of Commerce and local merchants, is going to take on the Christmas tree lighting and annual celebration downtown. We're seeking community-minded individuals to join us in creating an event that's not only memorable for all community members, but also economically stimulating for our downtown merchants. We welcome all members or not to attend our meetings over the next few months. Help us in creating a Christmas celebration to remember in 2024. We heard some murmurings last year from some of our downtown merchants who really think that Dawson Creek knows what they're doing when they're lighting their tree. And I think that we can give Dawson Creek a little run for their money. We just need to put our energy into it and come together with all parties involved. I'm certain that we will have support from the District of Chetwynd and everyone else. And I'm excited to bring some real Christmas magic nice and early, and really, like, the downtown, I don't know if you saw it today, they've been really tearing up the streets, but today they're actually ripping up all the concrete. Paving's going to happen shortly, and I really hope those beautiful ornamental lights will come on, and we're really going to have a pretty place as a backdrop for our Christmas celebrations. So my point about this is, if you don't want to be a Rotary member, but you want to be involved in Christmas, come to our meetings. Our first one will be, do you remember, Dawn? Beginning of October.
Is that for next Wednesday or Thursday? Thursday.
At noon at the public library. Is that the 4th? Sounds like October the 4th at the Chetwynd Public Library. We'd really like to see kind of as many people involved, all hands on deck for that, because I feel like we're going to be probably having weekly meetings, as like Naomi mentioned, Christmas is coming. Even though we have fall still, but let's see, what else do I have here?
Yes. What time? At noon at the library. You don't have to take them.
No, but we'd love to have you, Jen.
October 3rd.
Especially if you're passionate about Christmas. Oh, and so I'm going to finalize pretty quickly here. How can you join? We thought you'd never ask. We meet once a month at the Chetwynd Public Library for a noon meeting. Our annual membership fee is $250 to join. Simply ask a Rotary member. So we are excited for the new projects we have on the books at this moment, but we're open to new ideas from new members, and I believe that the sky's the limit for our dynamic group. I'm going to wrap it up here simply by asking, how can we do better? I'm going to introduce our MLA, Mike Bernier, to speak about his experiences with Rotary, but I'd love to hear some feedback from our community. What can we do more for you? Anybody? Come on. Alan, please say something.
I, for one, am really excited about the fact that you're taking on a Christmas tree light up. I've always been a huge fan of Dawson Creek's tree light up and thought Chetwynd can definitely do something similar. And I know it's going to be well received from the community. I have a couple questions.
Sure.
How well used is the running truck?
I really don't know. But I believe very strongly that once it's rubberized and the lines are painted, that people will really be able to start training. And yes, do you know how well used it is? You guys spend a lot of time out there with the soccer.
It's not used as much as it should be at this point, but what we're looking at putting in isn't just a running track anymore. It's going to be, they'll be able to hold sanctioned meets there. The kids could have, like, all the schools could come in and hold sanctioned meets provincials, it could be a good draw.
Excellent.
I think there's really good potential.
I know the schools are excited about it.
Yeah, and we did seek support from all the schools in the area, and that's what they said. They're hearing murmurings that we're getting close and they can't wait, because you're totally right, Mel, that people and the schools will be coming in from Mackenzie and from Hudson's Hope, and we'll kind of be that center and be huge economic stimulus for us as well. Was there more questions?
Just, it might be early, but do you have a roundabout date, for the tree light up? You did say early.
Oh, I would love to see. Of course, the group will decide, but just talking to people in the infancy of this project, it sounds like we'd love to see it happen prior to the beginning of December, similar to what Dawson Creek is doing. We may just do exactly what Dawson Creek does, but do it better.
And just on the side.
I just love that Mike's here for this. Any more questions, Janet? No?
I have one about membership. My thought on it was that we were okay. We had this many members, and the number 6 to 7 was low from my point of view. But as for the 250, I mean, I would be willing to sponsor somebody to go and if they're interested, because sometimes that's a detractor from not becoming a member. And I think we could probably find people in our community businesses that would sponsor somebody to go and be a member, because it's quite the thing to want to participate, but it's the other thing to put a bill for that amount, especially nowadays with stuff going on. But yeah, I would like to go and canvass some people and bring them to the Rotary and have them participate and do all this. Can I just mention one thing that's happening in the George Dawson Inn today? It's they're having a little session on employing disabled people in the peace, and that's happening tonight at the George Dawson Inn. So anyway, I just heard that, and I heard that a couple times now, and I thought that was something that we need to hear as people that we know, and it's very important. And I think the Rotary Club kind of goes on that line too, of helping people. So
Absolutely.
that's what's happening today in Dawson. I'm glad Mike's here.
Yeah, it's always good to know what is going on in our surrounding communities. I know that there's also a health fair happening out at Sodo, which I think is valuable for people who have any time this afternoon.
And
Oh,
one
more.
Julie.
Yeah.
Dollars, what are we looking at, or what can you give us right now that, how close to the
That
dollar
soft,
sign? Yeah.
yeah, that soft figure was 450 grand under budget.
That's what we're,
Yeah.
that was 250 from the grant and 450, or is it 250? 450 minus the 250.
We still need 450, sir.
Okay.
Because we have all our fundraising and everything in there.
That's right. Like Rotary, like we are basically emptying our coffers for this project, and another year is going to give us more time to fundraise towards that. And I thank you, Mayor, for his comments. We definitely would love more members. And $250 does mean different things to different people. Absolutely. A lot of people are passionate about community and volunteering, and we have invited people not just for the Christmas project to come and attend and not necessarily pay and be a member. We invite people in Chetwynd to just come and be a friend. You would not be a voting member for board decisions, but if you want to participate, we would turn nobody away, because we can use all the people that we can get, truly. Was there anything more before Mike comes up and talks of more? He's got 25 years experience with Rotary, and I'd love to hear what, Dawson Creek is doing and all. So if you've got nothing more for me, I will invite. There's nothing more? Okay, Mike Bernier, thank you.
So, thanks for that. Let me, I'm not sure where to start, because I hadn't planned anything other than being able to really talk about the good work of Rotary and start by thanking people that get involved. And you're right, it's usually the busy people that actually do all of the work and get out, and that's what we always talk about, even when looking at the Dawson Creek clubs, because we have the 2 clubs there now. We used to have only 1 when I first got involved, and then we actually got quite large, and we split into a Friday morning club, so a sunrise club, and then we have our Tuesday noon clubs. So the original one was the noon club, which I belong to. And let me just backtrack a little bit, as I can say the benefits that I've seen through Rotary. It's not just the fellowship, which of course is important because when you get out, you want to have fun and meet with people. But I can tell you, going to the barbecues and just being out in the community and volunteering just to help people has been life-changing in a lot of ways. And I know if you look around Dawson Creek, and I'd hope to see that in the near future in Chetwynd as well, there's very few places that you go around Dawson Creek where you don't see the Rotary emblem, the Rotary symbol, because their hands or fingerprints have been on so many different things. Everything from Rotary Manor for our seniors to the Rotary Walking Trail. You know, I could just go on and on about all the things that we've done. Right now, they're building a new BMX track for the kids where the old Rotary Lake used to be that had to be shut down. And it's all because of dedicated, Rotary started with business, right? It was business people back in the day that were looking for a way to get together, have their cigars and their brandy, and talk about how they can make their communities better. And it's expanded over all the multiple decades right around the world. It is the largest service organization in the world. So for those of you involved in it, there's a lot of pride there too. I'll tell you what really got me excited with Rotary when I first got involved is I became what was called the inbound counselor for Rotary Exchange, which was just an amazing thing that we did. So what that is our club was big enough where we would actually we would audition or interview, I guess, a child or kids in our community, and we would pick one person a year. Doing that, went to two once we had two clubs, where we would send them to another country for a year. And we would help sponsor that. And in exchange, we would bring in somebody from around the world. So my job for almost 10 years when I first got involved in Rotary was I was the inbound counselor. All these kids from around the world, even though I was raising 5 of my own at the time, I would bring in a kid from around the world. He'd come and live with me. And it didn't matter. I've had kids from Belgium and Denmark to China, Japan, Brazil, Austria. And all these kids are actually part of my family now. That's what Rotary also did. One big thing about Rotary is because it's a global organization, it actually reminds us how small the world really is, right? And how we can all make a big difference, whether it's locally or globally. So one of the things that I would love to see as well, as it is always hard, and to the mayor's point, it's always hard to get people out sometimes to join a service club. I think most service clubs, even if I can use something like the Legion as an example, or Elks or Rotary, sometimes it's hard getting people out. But it seems like the people that really want to make a difference in their community get involved. And one of the ways that's been successful for us, and maybe you've done the same thing, but it's just inviting people. We're always allowed at every Rotary meeting, every Rotarian's allowed to bring a guest. And so if I go to a Rotary meeting, I just find somebody in the community that's not a Rotarian, I invite them as a guest, I pay for their lunch, and they get to hear what it's about. And out of that, there's a lot of times it sparks people into saying, hey, I'd like to get out and flip some burgers and volunteer and be part of the community or help fundraise for an important project as well. But it takes really that grassroots effort. I know in Dawson Creek, for instance, we've had some of the people have been there probably twice as long as me. Like we're talking 30, 40 years the people have given in to Rotary in Dawson Creek. And that's why we were excited to help sponsor, if that's the right word, Chetwynd, to get involved, because we've seen the benefits it's had in our community. And it's something that I'd love to see spread across here. Christmas tree light up? Yeah, it might take you a couple of years to catch on to us. But I think, actually, I think our Christmas tree light up, we partner with the Oilman's Association, another service club. So we don't do it all of ourselves. They bring the tree and then we put on the evening as the Rotarians. But we've been doing a lot of things lately as well to think about. Maybe you're doing them. Sorry if you are and I didn't know. But we've been doing community barbecues. Like for instance, 2 weeks ago, we just went to one of the Crescent Park School and we went around to everybody that lived in that area. Then about a week before and put a flyer in their mailbox that just said, Rotary sponsoring a community get together, come on out for a hot dog and a pop. And we had about 80 people show up just from that community. And then, then we do it in another community a month earlier after. So anyway, it's all these different ways of just keeping the Rotary name out there, but showing support for the communities. But maybe I'll let's see if there's any questions too, because I'd love to cover off anything that you want to know about Rotary. And there's a lot of Rotarians who are way smarter than me that have been around a lot longer. But I can tell you, for me, it's been an amazing organization. It's something I did before I got into politics. It really got me involved at a business level as well with the community, and we've opened it up so anybody can join. I think I mentioned when I first came in, I left Rotary for a while because when I first became MLA, the Rotary rules at the time where you had to go to meetings, and if you missed a meeting, you had to do a makeup, and the fees were a lot more expensive. Like most service clubs, they've adopted or different rules now to try to keep people involved. So once they changed the rules that said you don't have to do makeups and you can just come when you can come, that's allowed everybody, a lot of people like myself, to get back involved. Because when I couldn't commit to 4 meetings a month, because if I was gone for 2 weeks a month, right? So that's why I'm excited to be back involved in Rotary again. So, but is there any questions really about Rotary or anything that I can help answer other than try to inspire more people to talk about it, get involved, because it's all about your communities. It really is.
So how much you figure Dawson Creek is raised for the community?
Oh, geez. You know what? It would be in the, I wouldn't even know. 10, 15, 20 million. Like, I mean, it's way up there.
So $450,000
multi-
would be too much for us.
Well, $450,000 is not a lot when you get a lot of people together.
Yes, yeah.
And a lot of people have the same passion and the same goal of just working. Because for us, the way we've always approached it, it's like eating an elephant. $450,000 might sound like a lot of money for Chetwynd, but if you're out there and each little group says, I can probably find 5, and I can probably find 5, next thing you know is you have 100, and next thing you know is boom, you're at your 450. It takes a while, but it takes the passion. And I think that's one of the things that I think where Rotary has been successful is not only in the fundraising, but it's also the credibility that the organization brings. You know, there's a lot of people, for instance, that have put Rotary in their wills when they've passed, saying, I know that this money's going to go to a good cause when I'm gone, and I trust these people to spend it wisely to help the community I love. So I know when I look at all the things we've been involved in, yeah, it's definitely 10, 15, $20 million. It's amazing what they've been able to accomplish. I can talk forever because I'm a politician, so don't let me. So if there's no other questions, all I will say is thank you to those that are involved, that are taking the lead on promoting the community. Because really that's, you saw the 4-way test there. But for me, the Rotary Club has always just been about how do you give back to your community, make your community a great place. And little projects have always been kind of the symbol of Rotary giving back. And so I wish you the best of luck, and I know we'll help in any way we can too in the fundraising or the communication efforts for your project. So with that, thanks everybody, and just encourage people to get involved.
Thank you.